I'm meeting here today with Raheel Raza, and the main thing I want to hear about is the story of Raif Badawi, whose wife has been addressing today the Saudi ambassador. He was arrested, I believe, in 2012 for talking about Islam in Saudi Arabia. He was sentenced to 1,000 lashes and 10 years in prison now. We're in Geneva, outside the United Nations, but I understand today you've been inside the United Nations. Can you tell us what happened?
Yes, I'm accredited with the United Nations Human Rights Council through the Center for Inquiry, and I come 3 times a year. And this time, the September session has been very exciting, especially today, because I am hopefully speaking about the rights of indigenous people and the oppression of indigenous people, which means the Baloch in Pakistan, the Ahmadiyyas, the Christian minorities in the Middle East and in Pakistan, the Rohingya in Myanmar, the Baha'is in Iran, and so on and so forth. And it's important to make our voices heard at the United Nations Human Rights Council, because the louder voices here are those of the OIC, which is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, also known as the Organization of Islamic Conference, which is 57 Arab Muslim states that hold the United Nations in its grip. And everything is someone else's fault. They never talk about the human rights violations in their own countries. So I'm here, and I'm delighted to be here because I'm meeting people, I'm talking about human rights issues, I'm hearing about human rights issues, and the most delightful thing today was to meet Insaf Haider, who is the wife of jailed Saudi blogger Raif Badawi, and she is here to speak in the council as we are talking. She is probably giving her statement where she is addressing the Saudi ambassador directly to say that he should free Raif Badawi, which is a huge movement. And I think that this is the highlight of my day here today. Although I have attended many sessions, I've heard the Iranians speak about new dead bodies that have emerged in Iran. And they're quickly trying to cover this up in Iran. The regime is trying to cover this up, whereas these Iranian dissidents have got proof, they've got pictures, they've got the stories, and they want the world to know what the Iranian regime is doing. So everybody brings their stories about human rights violations to the UNHRC, and so do the Baloch, and I hope that their voices will get heard.
So do I, and I'm shocked that no mainstream media cover it. Are you not? I haven't seen any mainstream media, even here today, and I've also been shocked over the last 12 months reading about what's happening to the Baloch people. I've never heard of this. All I hear about is Free Palestine.
Well, this is it. You see, it's imbalance of power there. What is happening to the Baloch people in Pakistan is something that needs front page coverage. And not only that, what is happening in the rest of the world. But the focus, of course, right here at the council also is on anything that is anti-Israel. And so you find that people will talk about human rights violations in a third country and they'll blame it on Israel. And this is the norm. I've been coming here for 5 years and I'm tired of hearing this. I want them to talk about the real issues, you know, what is happening to women's rights in third world countries, what is happening to minorities, what is happening about social stigma, what is happening to people with disabilities. These are all issues of human rights. And I wish that they would bring them up. But, you know, as you said, it's all about the Palestinians.
What about the Palestinians? And as to an average person, I always look at what's happening around the world and just think the United Nations is irrelevant because they don't actually do anything about it. They have all these meetings, but not much gets done.
Well, people say that the United Nations is irrelevant, but you have to remember that the world is there in this one plenary, and they're forced to listen to you. So by our absence, they get away with a lot of lies. The reason I come here time and again is to make my voice heard as a very small drop in the ocean of human rights. I want to be a thorn in the side of those who are lying through their teeth about their human rights violations. When Saudi Arabia stands up and says, there are no human rights violations in our country, this is all a conspiracy, then I want to, pull my hair out, but I'm there to say that they're lying. And this is why it's important to have a presence here, because this, after all, is where all the countries get together. This is the only place where the voices do get heard, and people do come with all their stories. So it is important for those human rights activists who believe that everyone's human right is important and that justice is not just for myself, but as Insaf Haider said, and I will quote her when she said that this is not personal. She said this is for universal human rights. And I believe that the work I do as well is for universal human rights, for the human rights of everyone, the Kashmiris, the Balochis, the Rohingyas, anyone who is being persecuted.
If you support human rights for people across the globe, then like and follow Rebel.